This is Debbie, and welcome to my Offbeat journey to becoming a full-time location-independent freelancer. I'll be sharing my tips and tricks as well as the realities of this offbeat lifestyle. Welcome to my offbeat journey, the first one in 2021. I am still amazed how this year is flying by. So today I wanted to talk about my podcasting journey because it's definitely been a crazy one. It's been a little bit over 3 years since I started the Offbeat life. And if you're new here, you may not know that I started my show in the fall of 2017. And I started the podcast because I really wanted a creative outlet. And I knew that I wanted freedom in my lifestyle, and I didn't have that in my 9 to 5. It was a job that really there was nothing wrong with it, right? The people I worked with was great. I was given more freedom in my hours, but I knew that it just wasn't for me. And I think if you're feeling like this, where it's not really a job that you hate, but it's something that you tolerate, it becomes even more harder to leave because you really have nothing to complain about, right? And that has really been something that stuck with me. You know, what am I doing? I'm being really ungrateful. I should be very thankful that I have this great job, get paid a lot of money, and my coworkers and the people I work with are pretty amazing. But again, it just wasn't for me. And I was literally having panic attacks every 4 months. So I knew I needed to do something. I needed to do something different with my life. And fortunately, I was introduced to podcasting by my fiance, my boyfriend at the time. But I really didn't know how to get started. But I've met so many people throughout my travels who were able to work from anywhere and also travel, right? So this is when my topic idea for my podcast actually came to life. I realized that I wanted to learn how to work from anywhere as a remote entrepreneur. And what better way to understand the lifestyle than by going right to the source, by interviewing the people who are actually doing this for a living, right? So I began to contact the people that I knew and introduced myself to people who were really killing it at their game as remote workers. Then I recorded my podcast and published it, and then the end. I'm joking. It didn't go that fast and that smoothly at all. Did you actually think that it was going to be that easy? Maybe you did, but it didn't. It actually took me 6 months to hit publish on my show, right? I recorded the episodes. I talked to plenty of people already, but I didn't publish my show until 6 months because I was so afraid to share it with the world. I was getting paralysis of analysis, getting too many people giving me too much advice who didn't really know what they were talking about, first of all. Only a few of them did. And at that time, podcasting was still the wild, wild west. And honestly, even now, it still is. And I thought I really needed everything to be perfect, right? I was also really intimidated because I'm not very technical. And honestly, it was all about my fears and my mindset. But thankfully, I was able to get out of my own head and finally hit publish after 6 months of overthinking. And thank God that I did, because having this podcast has literally changed my life. I'm going to say that again. This podcast that you are listening to right now has changed my life. Because after 3 months of starting my show, I was featured in Refinery 29 as one of the top travel podcasts. After 6 months, I landed my first brand sponsorship. And after a year and a half, I was able to leave my 9 to 5 to do this full time. Because of this podcast, I've been able to get paid to travel the world and interview the most incredible people who are remote workers. I've worked with huge brands and continue to do so today, and have met the most amazing people because of my show who are now my best friends. But to tell you honestly, it was not an easy road at all. When I was still working in my 9 to 5 and doing this podcast, I worked a ton. It completely took over my life. Work completely took over my life. I would work my day job for 7 to 8 hours and then come home and work another 6 to 7, maybe 8 hours on my podcast. And it was absolutely nonstop. And it took a huge toll on my health and personal relationships. So when I say it took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, that's literally what happened. It took blood, sweat, and tears to get to where I am today. And it took me a long time to realize and understand that without having balance, no amount of success is worth it, right? It was a moment when I was actually working with a huge brand. I was in a hotel room. I looked around me and realized that I was getting everything that I wanted. I didn't have my day job anymore. I was getting paid a lot of money to do what I love. But I looked around and realized that it wasn't worth it because I didn't have balance, right? And I still wasn't happy. So in that moment, I knew I needed again to shift my life to make sure that I was going to have balance. I was going to have really what I wanted, not only a job that I really love, that I was passionate about, but also still have relationships with the people I loved and have that connection. So from that moment on, I really made a lot of different shifts in my life and I learned valuable lessons. So the first one that I learned was to balance my work and personal life. When you're just starting out, it can be very easy to focus solely on your work. But don't forget to spend time with the people that you love, right? Take time every day not working and at least one day a week not connected to your phone or your laptop. I have found this to be so important and so crucial to make sure I keep my relationship with my fiance, my family, and friends also a part of my journey and not just the success of my business. Because part of my success, I realized, was not just about my business and money and all of that. It was also being happy with the people I loved. So that took priority. Another thing that I learned is that delegation is really the key to the growth of your business. Without delegating work, I would still be working on tedious tasks that wouldn't really help my business grow, right? That would be the main thing that I would be focusing on, and I wouldn't be working on projects that would actually help me grow and create income for my business. So today I actually have a team of 5, and without that team, I would not be able to keep sane and even be at the position that I am today. And the last thing that I really learned is that of course, it's possible to do everything on your own, right? You can learn all of this stuff. And, for a long time, I thought that that's what I wanted. That's why it took me 6 months to actually hit publish. But when I got a mentor, when you get a mentor to help you, it's going to allow you to succeed faster. And it's also going to give you a community that you need, especially when you're feeling alone, because this type of lifestyle can feel very lonely if you don't have people around you who are doing something similar or don't have that type of mindset. But another thing is that remember, you are paying an expert not only for their knowledge, but also the systems that they've created that will take you years to literally uncover. And if even at all, right? You may not even understand that or really learn that on your own because, again, you're by yourself. How are you going to know this? or it may take years and years to figure it out. So when I finally invested to get the help that I needed, I was able to grow sustainably in how I have been able to make this business work for over 3 years. Now, believe me, the success I've accomplished has not come easy, but I'm so glad that I've been able to create my boundaries and find my place as a podcaster and remote worker. And can I just tell you how before I started my podcast, I didn't even think that being where I am today is possible. And sitting here right now, sharing this journey with you, sometimes it still boggles my mind that I'm at this point and I'm actually making this lifestyle a reality and sustainable for myself. So I'm also really excited to share that in the last few months, because of everything that I have had because of this platform, I decided to offer my expertise to newbie podcasters and current podcasters who want to start growing their business using their show. Again, I'm really fortunate enough to be able to make podcasting a sustainable income because it has really, really helped me grow my business, right? And these lessons I've learned from years of learning and creating systems, talking to literally hundreds of people, are now available to a select few who want to grow or start a business using their podcast. The systems and knowledge that I share has literally changed my life, and now I want to do the same for you. So if you've been thinking about starting a podcast for a very long time, and you have been feeling overwhelmed and you're going through paralysis of analysis and need the right guidance to grow, or if you've already started your show but are now feeling the after the launch confusion because you didn't create the right systems and now you don't know where to go from here, then we need to talk, because this is my zone of genius. This is where I really thrive, right? So if you are feeling any of those things that I had mentioned, I want you to go right now to howtocreateapodcast.com/apply to apply for my podcast payback workshop. So this workshop will go through everything that you really need to not only get started with your show, but if you've already started it, we're going to go in and really revamp it and make sure that it is speaking to the right people. And you are going to learn how to make this sustainable as a business. But I do have to warn you that I don't accept everyone. And in order to take the next step with me, you will have to make an investment so you can create a huge shift, have accountability, and real pros to help you grow. Now, I'm really looking forward to speaking with you about your podcasting goals and your journey. And I'm excited for this new adventure that you're going to be going through. So again, you can go to howtocreateapodcast.com/apply and schedule a consultation call with me so I can see if you are the right fit for our workshop and how we can work together. All right, that is it for now. I can't wait to speak with you and to help you grow. Hey Offbeat family, I really appreciate you listening to this episode. I would love to hear more from you and what you think of the podcast. Suggestions on guests, topics we can discuss, or maybe you just want to be friends. Why don't we chat some more on Facebook at The OB Life, or send me a message at hello@theoffbeatlife.com. I can't wait to hear from you.